Mahomes, Brady, Super Bowl.
We just got to be ourselves. I trust my guys over anybody. The best thing about this team is we believe in each other, and every single time we hit the field, we leave everything we have.
Let's go, one more, we're at home. We're at home.
It's the last two quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl, as it turns out.
What we do? Tom, I looked at you like, I'm gonna be dog. Keep the camera on me, dog.
Yo, that boy is quick as hell, yo.
He backflips into the end zone.
He can't go on me.
Touchdown, Mike Evans.
Let's go, baby.
Way to go.
We're going to Tampa. We're trying to run it back.
We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. What do you think? I love you, man.
What's up, everybody? You're looking at Cynthia Freeland, the queen of analytics, Greg Rosenthal, the king of all things audio, and myself, Andrew Hawkins, the emperor of bubble screens. We have come together for the thing that has made us TV stars, Game Day View, delivered by Pizza Hut. It is Super Bowl 55. We could not be more juiced. Cynthia, we're going to start with you. What is the thing you are most excited about today?
I actually get to watch a Super Bowl with my family. It never happens because we're usually there and we usually have lots of stuff to do and lots of work. But today I get to go home and you know what? We get to sit on the couch. It's going to be awesome.
Same.
Incredible.
That's a great answer. I've been married for 13 years. I've never been with my wife on a Super Bowl Sunday. This is also a game where, like, either team, if they're down by 14 or 20, I feel like the game's not over. Not that you'd ever turn off the Super Bowl, but I feel like whichever team's behind is going to make a comeback. I'm looking forward to that. I also don't know about TV stars, Hawk. I remember the kind of montage we showed the other day, best of, and I saw, like, 2 TV stars, and then I was like, there's a podcast guy next to them, and I was like, man, I need to get a show with people that aren't as good looking.
No, it's all branding, man. You even have the microphone to let everybody know you run the audio world. Okay, so look, let's get right into the chat here. We're going to start things off by talking about which QB has the advantage in Super Bowl 55. I'll start it off. I know Tom Brady has done this 9 times, more times than I've actually been a professional athlete myself, in case you didn't know that, Greg. But I'm going with Mahomes. Mahomes, this is a guy that I don't think you have an answer for. We've seen when the Bills played against them, they tried to follow the playbook that we coached everybody to do because the Raiders had a little bit of success with them and they beat them early in the season to kind of sit back, give them everything underneath, don't give up any big plays. And what Mahomes did was he figured that out as well by getting the ball out really fast. I think he had a 5.8 yards per attempt, which is the lowest he's been all season. If that would have happened in the regular season, he would have been the second lowest amount in the league. How do you beat a guy that can beat you with a 7-yard pass or a 70-yard bomb? I think Mahomes has the advantage, Cynthia.
I think the one way you beat Patrick Mahomes is by having more deep plays yourself, which is something we've seen Tom Brady be really efficient with this season. The deep pass for the 43-year-old, by the way, I don't know if anyone has, I don't know how it hasn't come out till now that he's 43, but those deep passes, they're working for him this season. When you look to see the one time the Chiefs did get beat this season, it was the Raiders. The Raiders had more deep gashes, big plays. That was the one way that they could outscore the Chiefs. And Tom Brady has shown us that he can still do it. And also, he has been here before, and being here before, not just like the 9-time stuff, meaning with the receivers that maybe some have been there like Gronk and some haven't. So he's able to kind of corral them. So for me, that experience, that leadership, this is a super strange season, like all around in every way possible. But the deep pass is something Tom Brady can rely on, can give us to rely on.
Yeah, Brady is a great teammate. What people don't know, Cynthia is a great teammate. She'll do things like take Brady in this exercise just to help us out so we're not all saying Mahomes. When we all know Mahomes is the right answer. Are you kidding me? This is the best player I've ever seen. He's in the middle of his prime, and he's so good at what Tom Brady does well, which is pocket presence. So here's him moving up in the pocket on a key play against the Bills, a free rusher. He's not even worried about it on a 3rd and 6. These are the plays that win championships. When you dial up the perfect defense and Mahomes still gets you. Okay, he's got some great weapons too, but so did different players that were with the Chiefs like Alex Smith before. None of them are Patrick Mahomes, and to me, he is the best to do it. As much as Tom Brady has achieved over the years, I got to take Tom Brady. Let's go to the next one. Best playmakers. And I think the choice here is the Chiefs. They're both great. The Chiefs are more top heavy. The Bucs are deeper. But when you look at Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, to me, those two guys are almost unstoppable. The 7-yard throw to Travis Kelce is the most unstoppable play in the league. Last year, it was Lamar Jackson. This play you just saw to Tyreek Hill, it was like a 3-step drop, and they went 20 yards down the field. It doesn't matter what your pass rush is. That's how quickly Tyreek Hill wins. And if he doesn't, then you just throw it to Travis Kelce over the middle, who can beat your number 1 cornerback. He can beat double teams. It really doesn't matter. They are my choice. Do you agree, Cynthia?
I do agree with the side of the ball, and I think both of them are awesome choices. I read my homework a little bit differently because I want to point out the depth at the running back position for the Kansas City Chiefs. Playmakers, to me, sometimes they can come out of nowhere, and Darrell Williams really showed up when the Chiefs needed him. And given the fact that so many of the O linemen are banged up, Eric Fisher not playing, or didn't have an entire practice 2 weeks with the team like Kilgore, there's a ton of opportunity here for that Todd Bowles defense to come and try to get after Patrick Mahomes. Well, the one opportunity that these playmakers have is to run the football right in the face of that pressure. So the depth at the running back position for the Chiefs, those are the playmakers that it might not show up in the traditional stats, but those are the guys that are really going to decide this game, I think.
Well, I respect both of your opinion, and I will respectfully say I disagree, which is a good thing because it's going to keep us off of meme alert. I'm going with the Buccaneers playmakers. When I look at it, I have to ask myself, okay, is it the quarterback making the playmakers as good, or is it the playmakers making the quarterback better? And I think on the Buccaneers side, it's the latter. I think these playmakers and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who had the lowest drop rate in the league, Antonio Brown, Gronk, they have potentially 3 Hall of Fame jackets. Now, that's not my place to give out Hall of Fame jackets, but this is Game Day View. This is our show. We're TV stars. I am allowed to do that. Okay, so when I look at Tom Brady, who's been in the Super Bowl 10 times now, I think this could possibly be his most talented team around him on the offense as regards to their playmakers. And I think Mike Evans is underappreciated, and I could see them having a huge day in today's game. The next thing we'll go to defense. Now we want to talk who has the advantage on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to double down on my last topic and say the Buccaneers again. I'm specifically going to point out Devin White, a guy who had 9 sacks this year, so you know he could blitz, you know he could rush the quarterback. In the playoffs, he's only gotten better. He's had a fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, big fumble recoveries, an interception to seal it versus the Saints, and this guy is only in his 2nd year. He's been an anchor of this defense that has showed up when they needed him. Tonight will be a huge test for them, but I give them the edge over the Chiefs defense. Cynthia, what do you got?
Almost no one likes Todd Bowles more than me. He's just such an amazing person. But I'm actually going to point out the other defense because of the fact that Spagnuolo has so much experience against Tom Brady, and that's going to be a factor. If you saw Week 12, they were able to get after him. And remember, just kind of overall, this Chiefs defense, they only were able to pressure opposing quarterbacks at the 10th lowest rate in the league, 23rd, number 23. But they dropped back into coverage, which resulted in having the 2nd lowest completion percentage allowed to 10-plus air yard passes. So it was all about strategy. Strategy is going to come into play today in this game, and I think Spags and that experience on the biggest stage, I think that will be the difference maker.
Yeah, I waffled on this one. I think it's tough. Everything Cynthia said is right, and the Chiefs' defense has played great in the playoffs. I went with the Bucs just based on the regular season and the overall talent. It's all 3 levels. The defensive backs have made plays. Hawk mentioned the linebackers, but, man, the pass rush up front has been awesome, especially in the playoffs. I think Vita Vea being back opens up those one-on-ones for Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. Pierre-Paul, back when he won the 2011 season Super Bowl, was the best defensive player in the league, I thought, that year. He's had an unbelievable career, and he's playing fantastic. Shaq Barrett, we know what he can do. He dominated against the Packers. And Vita Vea, now a couple more weeks to get healthy, makes a big difference. So the slight edge goes to the Bucs, but a lot of respect to the Chiefs. Let's do some math. It's been too long, Cynthia.
I know, we need some math in our world right now. So I'm going to look at Gronk here, and I think he's going to have more than 29 receiving yards. Number 1, that's a ridiculously low number, especially considering how much 12 personnel this team plays. Number 2, Cameron Brate was a little banged up all week long. You know who Tom Brady doesn't like to throw to? People who are banged up. And number 3, if you look at Gronk's averages and the opportunity that he has here, with just 1 reception, he becomes the first player in NFL history to have a reception in a Super Bowl in 5 different Super Bowls. So I think 29 is too low. I'm going way higher than that. In fact, almost double. Greg, give me something sneaky to look for.
I love that. My sneaky good matchup is Chris Godwin over the middle against these Chiefs linebackers and safeties. Now, Gronk, he beat up on Daniel Sorensen back in the 2018 AFC Championship. It might be Godwin and Gronk beating up on him now. Their linebackers for Kansas City, I think, is the weakness. That's what Tom Brady's all about, picking out the mismatches. And Godwin is his number 1 receiver right now. I know Mike Evans is talented, but Godwin gets the most targets, the most yards, and I think he has the most trust, and he's going to be open over the middle a lot, just like Hawk used to be back in the day. What are you watching for, Hawk?
Oh, I got my Hawks eye on somebody else who I like to get open over the middle. My man Scotty Miller, who is their 4th receiving option. Now, you have to realize Antonio Brown is coming into this game banged up. Like Cynthia said, Tom doesn't like to throw to people who are banged up. So if in the event they don't get the production or Antonio Brown does not feel as good as they thought he would, look for an increased role for Scotty Miller, who's had a big playoffs. He's averaging 15 yards a catch because the guy is a burner. You know, Tom likes to throw to burners. They lead the league in the most 25-yard plus receptions. So be on the lookout for Scotty Miller. That's who I got my eye on.
It's time for More or Less, everyone's favorite game. I hope you have fingers at home to play along.
I forgot the foam fingers.
I do the whole show with them.
Where are your fingers?
Right here. Boom. Boom.
Boom, 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 boom. In addition to a bad hair day, my foam fingers are messing up the camera. Oh,
they're right here.
Totally red now.
It's really hard to drink coffee with these.
My More got a Christmas adornment. More or less game debut? No?
I'm going to go with less.
I'm going more partly because it looks so awkward when I go less. This has been one of my favorite shows. Watching Hawk just give away second place to me has really been enjoyable.
Ooh, spicy.
My 8-year-old son told me to, and again, our More or Less is not brought to you by analytics.
We got to run them out one last time. The Foam Fingers Super Bowl edition. They're here. We all need these right now. Okay, let's start with the total score. 56 points, more or less than 56 points in this game. Ooh, lovely.
I know he's supposed to be confident in our picks. I'm not really sure who's going to win this game, but I am sure that there's going to be more than 56 total points. I think it's in the 60s. I think there's going to be great offense. I think these two teams are going to put on a show, and I feel great about it. If I could lock it up, I would.
I love it. And again, I picked the score this week, so this is a very easy pick for me, Cynthia, because I can do a little bit of math, at least addition. More than 56.
You did math too. I love it. Okay, let's go with the next one. First half, more or less than 28 total points in the first half alone. Is it going to start fast? Is it going to start slow? What have we got going on here?
Can you do division, Hawk?
I'm trying. It's a lot harder than addition for me.
Can you do colors? Because I think red is supposed to be down and green is up. But it only took you 20 weeks. Try to figure that one out.
Well, I do have the green one up, Greg. I don't know what's going on your side, but I'm going with more than 28. I think the score at halftime will be 17-13.
I am colorblind. I'm colorblind. It really took 20 weeks for that to come out, so I totally apologize. I'm going more though. I'm not a smart guy.
I had less. I think defense starts, and then I think the offense happens in the second half. That's how I roll. All right, last one. This one is so important, so listen up. The national anthem, our amazing song. It's a duet this year. Is it going to be more or less than 2 minutes long? By the way, I'm changing my answer from Friday.
Okay.
Sequence.
More.
Changed everything.
More.
Would you like to know why I'm changing my
Cynthia.
answer? Because I saw some Twitter sleuths, people who were standing outside Raymond James, and they clocked it. Like there was a rehearsal that was going on, and they clocked it. So they clocked it at 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Hello, take the cheat code. Why not?
That really is cheating. I don't know much about Eric Church, but I hope they go over 2 minutes. Let's take a quick break. We've been longer than 2 minutes on this show, but we will have more coming up. Look at that, Super Bowl Sunday.
Do you want to add excitement to this year's Super Bowl? Play the new NFL Pick'em Party presented by Caesars Rewards to win exclusive prizes, including an epic 2022 NFL Draft Package for you and friends at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Download the NFL mobile app or visit NFL.com/pickparty to learn more.
Oh, I miss Vegas. All right, it is time for Gaining Greatness presented by Sleep Number. Let's make some head-to-head picks, and we're going to start it off with who has more passing yards in Super Bowl 55. Is it Brady or Mahomes? I'll kick it off. I'm going with Brady, even though I said Mahomes had the advantage, because I think the Buccaneers will be in a position late in the game where they're going to have to throw to make a little bit of a comeback, which is going to push Brady over the top in the final stat line. Cynthia, what do you got?
I couldn't agree with you more. I have Brady, and it's not even that close. I think it's like 25 yards different. I think the interesting point here is that they're going to rely on those deep passes. They're going to need those deep passes in order to best the Chiefs, and I like the game script that you mentioned. What do you have, Greg?
I have Patrick Mahomes. Man, I love the fact that Tom Brady at 43 years old has the respect that he absolutely could have the most passing yards. He had 500 once in a losing effort. But I like Mahomes to get it because I think both teams are going to throw the ball all over the yard, especially in the second half, as Cynthia talked about. And I give Mahomes the slight edge. Let's talk receiving. Who do you guys think will have more receiving yards, Tyreek Hill or Mike Evans? I am going to go with Tyreek Hill because the thing with him, okay, you can struggle in pass protection. But Tyreek Hill can catch a 2-yard pass. He can catch those little shovel passes, which are basically a handoff, and he can go 70. And I don't think Mike Evans is there right now. He's been a little up and down in terms of his continuity with Tom Brady throughout the course of the season. Tyreek Hill is their leading receiver, and so I think this is an easy one for me. What about you, Cynthia?
Couldn't agree more. I love everything you said about Tyreek Hill. My point is a little bit more about Mike Evans. He's going to be a red zone threat. And remember, the Chiefs in the regular season, their defense was the worst in the red area. So it's going to be those shorter passes, right? It's not going to be the deep gashes. It's going to be, those will be Chris Godwin. It's going to be Tyreek Hill more than that because Mike Evans is going to be used more in that red area.
I'm flying solo on this one. Play the sound. I'm going with Mike Evans. I feel like Tyreek Hill, the last time they played in Week 12, he hit them for 269 yards as a defensive coordinator. There is no way that they're going to let this guy go off the way that he went off against them. They have to bracket him. They have to double team him. Don't let anybody on the Chiefs beat you that is Tyreek Hill. Everybody else outside of him can beat you, not Tyreek Hill. All right, next up, we're sticking with the receiving yards theme. Who's going to have more yards? Is it Travis Kelce or is it Chris Godwin? I'm going with Kelce because it ties to my last point. They're going to try to take Tyreek Hill away, and they're going to give them Kelce because he can do a little bit less damage because he's not as much of a home run hitter. So I expect Travis Kelce to have a huge day because they're going to be so worried about Tyreek Hill, Cynthia.
Couldn't agree with you more. Now, when I look to see how Patrick Mahomes could get pressured or where he has any sort of I don't want to call it deficiency, but an area of stats going down even a tiny bit, it's when they don't blitz, but they're able to bring pressure. So if they are able to bring any pressure without the blitz, they're going to have Travis Kelce open in the middle, which means that they're going to make sure, Travis Kelce, let's go. That's going to be kind of the primary target.
Well, I'm flying solo this time. I don't have a nice little sound effect or anything, but I'm going Chris Godwin. If you wanted to, okay, thank you. If you wanted a sneaky MVP candidate, I think it's Chris Godwin. Man, he reminds me of a little bit smaller, but Anquan Bolden in his prime, and I just think he could go off today. And I'm looking forward to watching him play. He's one of the most underrated physical receivers in the league. He can do it all. Short, long, anything you want. It's all about Chris Godwin. Let's talk about some more receiving threats. Rob Gronkowski, who Cynthia talked about, or McCole Hardman, who's had some big plays throughout his playoff career in a short career. I'm going Gronk. It was a tough one. Cynthia really convinced me earlier this week about this matchup against the Chiefs. You know Tom Brady would love to get Gronk involved. Even the last Super Bowl, where Gronk was not even as healthy as he was now. They couldn't move the ball for much of the game. Who was it in the fourth quarter that Brady looked to? It was Rob Gronkowski. You know he'd love to go to the big fella on the biggest stage today. What about you, Cynthia?
Yeah, I have Gronk. I think I made my case for liking Gronk earlier, but my other thing that I'm looking at interested in this one, I do think that Spagnuolo will dial up the pressure, which means more opportunities for Gronk. And I like the sneaky McCole Hardman opportunity here because he did have the yips last game, and Andy Reid is known for redemption. Give him the ball early. I just think Gronk will have more opportunities throughout the entire game.
I'm flying solo again. Cue the sound up. I'm going McCole Hardman. This was a tough one for me for the reasons that you guys mentioned. We know Gronk is Tommy's guy, but at the same time, this isn't the same Gronk from years ago when he was playing in Super Bowls, and he's roaming around in that area of the field that the Honey Badger is in, so it's going to be tough for him. I think McCole Hardman has just a few big plays that get him a ton of yards from Patrick Mahomes. All right, next up, we're going more rushing yards. Is it Williams or Ronald Jones? I'm going to go with Williams because I think that he's primed for a big game. He's been big down the stretch. I do think the Kansas City Chiefs will run the ball more than people suspect because you know the Buccaneers are putting so much into stopping this pass game that's similar to how we've seen them versus the Bills. Although it was rainy early in the season, they just went to the run heavy early and often, and I think Williams has a big game on the ground. What do you got, Cynthia?
You know, I think all of the running backs don't have, like, huge numbers. There's not one that really stands out. But I do have Ronald Jones getting the most rushing yards. Why? Because we've seen playoff Lenny. We understand what's going on there. But I think they're going to have to try some new tricks to really exploit a weakness in the Kansas City defense, and that's against the run. So Rojo, and where he's been really good all season long, and where he's had, you know, the interesting next-gen stat of yards over expected, he actually is 5th best in the entire NFL in that metric. So that's the kind of thing where Bruce Arians will rely on it. Byron Leftwich will rely on it in this one. Leftwich, I can say his last name just so we're clear. And that will be something that makes a difference in this one. So not by a ton, but I have Rojo.
All right, I'm going Ronald Jones too. It was a tough call, but you know when Darrell Williams doesn't even have the respect of Hawk being able to say his first name because he's like, which Williams is it? It was like they had Damian Williams last year, now it's Darrell Williams. Like that's how faceless this Chiefs backfield is right now. You know the Chiefs have run the ball pretty well in the playoffs, and Darrell Williams has been at front, so it's a tough one. But I think Ronald Jones is really, really talented. When you watch him, he's just a great pure runner. Cynthia mentioned the stats to back it up, so I'm going to give him the slight edge. Finally, another running back matchup. It is Clyde Edwards-Elaire versus Leonard Fournette. Who has more rushing yards? And I'm going to go Edwards-Elaire. They drafted him in the first round for a reason. He's had a couple weeks to digest this, game plan, get healthier. I know they call him Playoff Lenny, but to me, Edwards-Elaire can do a little more, and this would be a time to use him. I know Darrell Williams has been the main guy the first few weeks. Would not surprise me if CEH is the primary ball carrier on Super Bowl Sunday. What do you think, Cynthia?
Yeah, I have Leonard Fournette, but not because I don't believe in CEH, but when I look to see the fact that they're going to need to run the ball a little bit more because they want to keep Tom Brady out of those weird situations where he's in obvious passing downs, the Chiefs can rely a bit more on their multitude of running backs where they're just going to have to rely on the two. There's only 2 for Tampa Bay. So realistically speaking, the rushing yards that maybe Patrick Mahomes will scramble and steal are not going to be stolen. So that's why I just have a slight edge for Leonard Fournette over Clyde Edwards-Elaire and all these French last names. What do you have, Hawk?
There's nothing even left to say. You summed it up perfectly. I agree with the Leonard Fournette take, and he's been good down the stretch, and I think he has a big game in the Super Bowl, at least more than CEH, who sounds like an airport. But they're both ballers. All right, listen, that was Gaining Greatness presented by Sleep Number.
The greatest player ever in NFL history.
Every single play except the challenge.
And the Super Bowl 54 champions are ready to take on the Buccaneers.
Caught Mike Evans, touchdown Tampa Bay. There you go, Tom Brady.
What do you need? A touchdown from the cheetah.
They need help. What a great grab by Gronk. Holy guacamole.
He's going to be smoked and sacked.
98-yard touchdown run by Ronald Jones II.
A new wrinkle to Kelsey. Zeus drinks from the sweet nectar of the end zone like a well-oiled machine.
Fournette refused to go down.
The jet on a short flight.
Nice job, boys. Way to hang in there.
And it's human pyrotechnics dressed in red.
Hot ball. Chris Godwin.
Yes, sir. Pringle busts a 102.
10 more.
Caught by Antonio Brown. Will score a touchdown.
Hey, we don't let up.
Interception, Buccaneers.
Money.
I'm going to put the dagger in.
It's football.
It is time now for our Super Bowl 55 picks and who you got delivered by Pizza Hut. The Chiefs are favored in this matchup by 3, and I'm going with the Chiefs. I have a score of 34-30. I just think they are too talented. Patrick Mahomes is a stud. He's 25 years old, and there's really no real way to stop him. I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a great game, specifically Tom Brady, the GOAT. But I think it's one of those games where we'll look back and say, that was the moment it became Patrick Mahomes' league, Cynthia. What do you got?
Ooh, I like that. First, we have Aaron Rodgers getting on-fianced or whatever, and then we have Patrick Mahomes getting the torch from Tom Brady. My goodness, this is just going to be great. I actually also have that happening. 29-28, just a 1-point win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Lots of good things going on, lots of stuff for us to be happy about, but really a nice close game so that we get to end this season the way that it deserves, entertaining us and making us reminded why we love football so much.
I have a very similar outcome, 35-33 for the Chiefs. Bucs fans, if you're out there, we're on meme alert. Let us know. See, Bucs fans aren't that annoying, though. They wouldn't do that. That's more like a Bears, Bills fans thing. Sorry.
They're partying too much right now.
Right. 35-33. I really think this is a game where maybe the Chiefs defense actually makes a couple big plays. They've really stepped up in the playoffs. I know I have them giving up 33 points here, but they got a lot of pressure on Brady in Week 12, and they got a lot of pressure on Josh Allen and did a good job against the Browns. So I think that's the slight difference, and that was Who You Got, presented by Pizza Hut. What a joy to say that to wrap up this season.
My name is Dan Hansis, joined in a room filled with heroes Mark Sessler, Chris Wessling, Greg Rosenthal with the Pocket Square. What is up, boys?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Skill and Valor, also known as
Win Wes's Toaster.
In a big spot.
An 8-3 team on a 6-game winning streak?
I'm gonna look it up! Jesus Christ.
The live show success, the meetup, even more of a success.
You guys have sat behind me, or sat beside me for 700 shows. You sat beside me for a grueling battle with cancer. will you stand beside me on the most important day of my life?
Wine is blue because we're having a baby boy!
Oh, look at that! Something is always lost in art or experience when you analyze it. Mark Twain, once he became a riverboat pilot and learned the technical side of it, the Mississippi River was no longer beautiful for him. If I was to hire a sports writer, the first question I was going to ask him is, how do you reconcile the essential meaninglessness of sports? I mean, how do you reconcile watching young men bang into each other and try to advance an inflated pigskin against marked territory? I mean, that's what you're doing. How do you reconcile the importance of that? And I think it's like Shakespeare's poems or Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. This is going above and beyond. At its best, sports is look at what humans can do.
My thanks to Matthew Zickus, who put that together, a beautiful tribute for a beautiful man. I think about Chris Wessling in relation to this show, guys, Game Debut. We're always arguing. But like that was how I got to know Wes, was just arguing. There is no one I loved arguing about picks, about football, about anything with than Chris Wessling. You guys are too nice to me compared to him. Like we would go back and forth, and we loved each other, and there was always great love at the end. So that's what I'll be thinking about today when I'm watching this game.
I am literally sitting in the seat that he sat in. I just realized that. And he was always so amazing to me. Same with Lakeisha. And I mean, I didn't get to work with him as much on camera, but always off camera, like one of the most amazing human beings on the entire planet. And I take this fact that we could probably not be in this studio again next season. It's probably not going to come back. And I get to sit right here. I take that responsibility really seriously. So what a great human. We have a responsibility to Lakeisha and Link to let them know exactly how special he is.
Beautiful words from the both of you. A tough year, just got a whole lot tougher for the NFL family. Thoughts and prayers to his family, his lovely wife Keisha, and their beautiful baby boy Link. That's it. That does it for us this year on Game Day View. More or less Game Day View, less. We will see you next year. It's been an incredible season. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for everyone behind the scenes who puts this on. Thank you to you, Cynthia, you, Greg. You guys are champions. Love you guys. Miss you. Can't wait to give you a big hug. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.
Love y'all.
Peace.